Welcome back to the channel where tiny coins tell massive stories, where spare change could secretly be hiding life-changing fortunes, and where numismatic mysteries unfold into million-dollar tales. Today's episode is one that you absolutely do not want to miss because we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing and talked-about coins in the modern collectible world, the 2005 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a humble penny with a rumored value of a staggering $92 million, and you're about to discover exactly why this seemingly ordinary copper-plated zinc coin struck at the Denver Mint has become the subject of intense fascination, heated auctions, private collector wars, and a whirlwind of speculation, legend, and documented minting anomalies that have all collided to elevate this single cent into the stratosphere of ultra-rare and ultra-valuable American currency. And what makes this even more remarkable is that millions of these coins were minted for everyday circulation, and yet a specific cluster of them, just a handful perhaps, contain unique traits, jaw-dropping minting errors, strange die alignments, doubling patterns, off-center strikes, and unexplained planchet transformations that have never before or since been seen in the same configuration, sparking wild excitement in the numismatic community and igniting a hunt across the country by collectors and hopefuls who now scrutinize their pocket change with magnifiers and microscopes hoping to spot one of the error variants that has turned an everyday penny into a jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar treasure. And it all begins with understanding how something minted in such massive quantities, over 3.9 billion 2005 D pennies were struck, could result in a microscopic few becoming legendary. So let's start by examining the most notable and mysterious among the known error varieties that make this coin so shockingly valuable, beginning with the dramatic double die obverse, which in some cases is so pronounced that Lincoln's eye appears to have a ghostly duplicate directly beneath it, almost like an echo in metal. And in other cases collectors have found doubling on the date, with the 2005 showing a shadow-like second strike slightly offset and particularly visible under magnification or extreme lighting. But what's so perplexing about these examples is that not all doubling is equal, and in the case of the 2005 D, the doubling appears to result from a previously undocumented hubbing misalignment which didn't affect other coins of the year in the same way. And this leads to the possibility that a single or extremely limited number of working dies were misconfigured and allowed to strike thousands or perhaps even fewer pennies before being caught and removed, and that small window of production is now believed to be the origin point for some of the most sought-after Lincoln cents in modern history. But the errors don't end there, because there are also remarkable examples of off-center strikes, particularly those that are between 15 and 20% off, preserving most of the portrait and date while clearly showing the shifted strike area and blank crescent of unstruck planchet, which makes these pieces especially valuable because the date and mint mark are still readable, satisfying collector demand for identifiable and dramatic minting blunders. And then we must discuss the infamous broad strikes, where the collar die failed to contain the metal during the strike process, leading to warped, disc-shaped coins with no defined edge reading and a stretched appearance that again often preserves the date and mint mark while displaying a bizarre and unmistakable flaw that instantly elevates the coin's uniqueness. But what truly catapulted the 2005 D penny into folklore status is the controversial and extremely rare copper transition variant, with multiple numismatists reporting and even confirming examples of the coin that test with a higher than normal copper content, leading to theories that a few copper planchets from earlier stock were accidentally or perhaps even deliberately used during the minting process, despite the official metal composition having long shifted to 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. And while the US Mint has never officially acknowledged the existence of these off-metal 2005 D specimens, private metallurgical testing has revealed density and acoustic resonance signatures more consistent with the earlier solid copper or high-percentage copper-zinc alloys, sparking suspicions of a transitional error on par with the legendary 1943 copper cent or the 1982 small-date copper penny. And these anomalies have fetched breathtaking sums at private auctions, with one particularly pristine specimen allegedly changing hands for over $10 million in an off-the-record private sale between two elite collectors with a known history of bidding against one another in high-stakes numismatic events. And to make things even more electrifying, there are tales of 2005 D pennies showing clash marks, raised outlines of the reverse design faintly visible on the obverse due to die collision without a planchet in place, creating eerie ghost images of the Lincoln Memorial or lettering from the reverse appearing superimposed over Lincoln's bust, which only happens when dies strike each other directly and then continue minting coins before being replaced. And collectors love these because they offer physical proof of mint machinery malfunction, an inside look at the chaos behind the scenes at one of the busiest mints in the world. and this particular year seems to have had more than its fair share of breakdowns, perhaps due to overworked equipment, rushed production quotas, or simply bad luck, but regardless of the reason, the results have birthed a legend that refuses to die and continues to grow with each new discovery and whispered rumor of yet another oddity from that fateful minting year. And then there are the oddball planchet errors, coins struck on foreign or mismatched blanks, including a handful of rumored examples struck on dime planchets which are smaller and silver in color, resulting in a miniature, lightweight penny that looks entirely wrong to the naked eye and yet passes basic dimensional tests for the year, with these pieces being almost impossible to fake due to their weight and specific strike characteristics. And when you add to all this the possibility of rotated dies, repunched mint marks, and die breaks or cuds, large raised areas where part of the die broke away and allowed molten metal to fill in the void, you get a perfect storm of rare and fascinating minting errors all converging on a single year and a single mint mark. And that's exactly what has turned the 2005 D. Lincoln penny into a coin that has captivated the imagination of collectors and investors alike. And as word continues to spread through forums, auctions, YouTube videos, TikToks, and dedicated numismatic publications, the demand for these coins continues to rise, and with it the prices being offered and paid by those who wish to own a piece of American minting history that exists in defiance of statistical probability and institutional accountability. And let's not forget the growing number of examples being submitted to professional grading services where encapsulated and certified error coins are now receiving higher premiums than ever before, with top tier examples graded MS67 or above with strong, dramatic errors commanding the kind of bids normally reserved for precious metals or antique art. And some collectors even speculate that as more of these are found and documented, their value might paradoxically increase rather than decrease due to the growing awareness of how truly rare the most valuable variants are. And whispers in collector circles suggest that there may be a subtype of 2005 D penny featuring a microprinting anomaly near Lincoln's shoulder or jacket collar, something akin to the extra leaf variety seen in other coin types. And although this remains unconfirmed officially, several high-resolution macro photos shared among top collectors have shown irregularities that could support such claims, and the mere suggestion of a new error type on this coin is enough to reignite the frenzy and keep the search going strong, because the truth is that the 2005 D. Lincoln cent, despite being a coin designed for the most mundane of purposes, basic, everyday transactions, has become a symbol of hidden wealth, of the unpredictable magic that sometimes occurs when mass production meets human error, and of the thrill of discovery that drives so many people into the world of numismatics in the first place, where the line between ordinary and extraordinary is often no more than a hairline crack, a misaligned die, a ghostly doubling, or a fraction of a gram in the wrong direction. And as long as these errors remain undocumented in full, and as long as speculation continues to grow unchecked, the 2005 D penny will remain one of the most exciting modern coins in circulation, a humble cent that just might be worth millions. So before you spend that 2005 D penny in your change jar, take a closer look. It might be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement plan. And with that in mind, if you enjoyed this incredible journey through the hidden riches of American currency, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories about coins that changed lives, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a chance to learn which coin in your pocket could be the next $1 million mystery waiting to be uncovered. Next. Today we're diving into one of the most electrifying and intriguing stories in the world of modern numismatics, a story that surrounds the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent coin which, though it might appear ordinary at first glance, has achieved legendary status among collectors and enthusiasts due to a fascinating mix of historical quirks, minting anomalies, error varieties, and high-stakes auctions that have all combined to catapult its value into the realm of the unbelievable, with one particular specimen rumored to have reached an astounding value of $51 million, making it one of the most sought-after and mysterious pennies ever produced by the United States Mint. And what makes this tale so riveting is that this coin was minted relatively recently, during an era of modern mass production and tight quality control, which should make the appearance of valuable mint errors extremely rare. Yet here we are, unraveling a story that proves even in the age of technological precision, accidents, oversights, and anomalies still occur, and sometimes they create something truly historic. And so today we'll journey into the world of the 1995 penny, focusing on every nuance, every variant, every theory, and every piece of evidence that supports why this humble coin has stunned collectors, sparked bidding wars, and led thousands of Americans to check their spare change in hopes of finding that one elusive cent with the power to change their financial destiny. And it all begins With the most famous and widely publicized error associated with this year, the dramatic and unmistakable double die obverse, a striking error that emerged when the die used to impress the design onto the coin was misaligned during the hubbing process, resulting in a second, slightly off-center image being stamped over the first, and in the case of the 1995 penny, this caused the inscriptions on the obverse, most notably the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," to appear doubled, with the doubling so prominent and well-defined that even untrained eyes can detect it without magnification, making it one of the most accessible major error coins ever discovered in circulation. And because millions of these coins were initially distributed before the error was caught, they quickly gained attention in the collecting community, with some early examples fetching hundreds and eventually thousands of dollars as demand surged and news media helped spread awareness to the general public. But as with many error coins, not all doubling is equal, and some 1995 double die cents show only faint or partial doubling, while a rare few display crisp, textbook examples of the error across multiple letters with no degradation. And these high-quality specimens, especially those that have been preserved in near-mint condition or graded at MS67 or higher, are the ones that command truly astronomical prices at auction. And beyond the well-known double die obverse, there exist even rarer, less understood errors that have been reported by collectors, including off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, die breaks, repunched mint marks, and even transitional planchet anomalies, each of which contributes to the mystique and perceived value of this incredible coin. For instance, some 1995 cents have been found with dramatic off-center strikes that leave portions of the design hanging off the planchet edge, sometimes missing parts of Lincoln's portrait or the date while retaining enough identifying detail to be prized by collectors, while others show signs of broad strike errors, where the coin expands outward due to improper collar usage during minting, resulting in a distorted yet fully struck design that draws significant interest in numismatic circles. And then there are die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, creating ghost-like images from the reverse design that appear faintly on the obverse side, producing a surreal and highly collectible effect that can be visually stunning under proper lighting. And some of the rarest reported 1995 cents even exhibit signs of being struck on foreign or mismatched planchets, potentially due to leftover blanks from previous minting operations mistakenly fed into the coining presses, which could result in unusual weights, colors, and ring tests, sparking speculation and deep dives into metallurgical analysis that only fuel the frenzy around this year's production anomalies. And in a few rare cases, coins have surfaced that show a highly unusual repunched mint mark, where the D or S mint mark appears to have been struck more than once, slightly offset, a relic of older minting practices that were mostly phased out by the 1990s but somehow resurfaced in this run, adding yet another layer of intrigue to the story. And while most collectors are familiar with the Philadelphia minted 1995 penny with no mint mark, there have been isolated cases of 1995 D pennies exhibiting similar or variant forms of doubling and strike errors, though less prominently and with less media coverage, making these even more mysterious and potentially undervalued. And as the coin collecting community continues to scrutinize every detail of these coins, new theories and possibilities keep emerging, including the idea that certain error types were the result of experimental dies, test strikes, or even intentional sabotage by mint employees, something that has been whispered about in collector forums and Reddit threads but never officially confirmed, yet tantalizing enough to keep interest levels at a fever pitch. And when one considers the impact that media coverage, collector demand, rarity of error types, condition of the coin, and market trends have on coin value, it becomes easier to understand how a perfect storm specimen of the 1995 penny, one that features the most dramatic version of the double die obverse, possibly paired with a rare planchet error or in a condition of flawless uncirculated preservation, could realistically fetch tens of millions of dollars from the right buyer in the right auction environment, particularly if multiple high-net-worth collectors or institutions are competing for ownership of what is now considered one of the most iconic modern American coins. And this is no longer mere speculation, because in recent years there have been verified reports of 6- and 7-figure sales of top-tier examples, with some graded specimens achieving prices over $100,000 in certified numismatic auctions and private sales. And as supply remains low and demand continues to rise, especially with growing global interest in American error coins, the value ceiling has yet to be defined. And we must also consider the psychological and cultural factors at play, because the Lincoln penny is not just currency, it's an American icon, representing history, continuity, and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. And when such a symbol is transformed, by accident or anomaly, into a rare and unique object, it resonates with collectors on a deeper level. and many of those who pursue the 1995-era penny do so not just for its potential resale value, but for the thrill of owning a piece of flawed perfection, a modern legend struck in copper-plated zinc. And this passion is what fuels the ongoing interest in finding new variants, with dedicated treasure hunters examining bank rolls, old coin jars, estate sale finds, and eBay listings in hopes of locating that one penny that could pay off a mortgage or fund a college education. And in online communities and coin shows, stories abound of individuals who unknowingly held onto a 1995 double-die penny for decades, only to later realize its value and cash in big, sometimes even funding entire collections or retirement plans from the sale of a single coin. And as grading technology improves and demand from international buyers grows, the stakes keep getting higher, and even rumors of new era discoveries spark waves of renewed searches and price increases, and this has led to a gold rush mentality among collectors who believe the next major 1995-era coin is still out there waiting to be found, maybe buried at the bottom of a drawer, stuck inside an old piggy bank, or jingling unnoticed in someone's pocket. And for those who understand the details, the diagnostic characteristics of the true double-die obverse, the telltale signs of machine doubling versus genuine hub doubling, the minute clues that separate common errors from once-in-a-generation finds, the rewards can be extraordinary. And while the most famous 1995-era penny has already earned its place in the annals of numismatic history, possibly fetching up to $51 million due to its combination of dramatic doubling, pristine condition, and possibly unique planchet characteristics, the excitement shows no sign of slowing down, with more coins still surfacing, more theories being debated, and more collectors joining the chase every day. And so whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual coin enthusiast, the story of the 1995 Lincoln 1 cent is a vivid reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked objects can hold immense value, that history is sometimes minted by mistake, and that the thrill of discovery is alive and well in the world of coins. So keep your eyes open, your magnifier ready, and your curiosity sharp, because you never know when your next penny might be the one that makes history. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of era coins and million-dollar cents, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the next rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight. Today's episode is going to absolutely blow your mind as we dive deep into the unbelievable world of the 2000 Lincoln 1 cent coin, a penny struck at the Denver Mint that has been making waves in the numismatic community for its astounding errors, strange anomalies, and dramatic minting mistakes that have pushed its estimated worth into the stratosphere, with some of the most talked about examples reportedly reaching a jaw-dropping value of $32 million. And we are going to explore every fascinating reason why this seemingly ordinary coin has taken the world of coin collecting by storm, because while it may look like just another copper-colored penny to the average person, seasoned collectors, auctioneers, and numismatic scholars know better. They know that the 2000 cent has become the centerpiece of modern coin era history due to an astonishing confluence of minting mishaps, overlooked processes, and almost mythic examples that have surfaced through auctions, estate sales, and the tireless hunting of dedicated enthusiasts. And it all begins with one of the most talked about features of this coin, the now legendary multiple strike error, where several examples of the 2000 penny have been discovered with evidence of being struck more than once, and not just in a traditional double strike sense, but sometimes with severe misalignment between strikes, creating a warped and surreal appearance where Lincoln's profile appears doubled, distorted, or partially rotated. And what makes these particular errors so compelling is the clarity of both strikes and high-grade examples, allowing collectors to study how the minting dies malfunctioned at the moment of creation, essentially producing a time-stamped accident captured in copper-plated zinc. And the more dramatic the shift between strikes, the more valuable the coin, with some pristine examples reportedly selling in the millions at private auctions, especially when accompanied by professional grading certification from top services such as PCGS or NGC. But the fascination doesn't stop there, because the 2000 penny also features known off-center strike errors, where coins were struck while not properly seated in the press, resulting in design shifted far to one side, often with a blank crescent-shaped arc along the edge. And some of the most highly prized examples are those that remain off-center by 15% to 25% but still clearly show the date and mint mark, a balance of error and identifiable detail that collectors find irresistible, especially in mint state condition where the red luster of the coin remains intact. And then there's the broad strike error, another favorite among collectors, where the collar die fails to engage during minting, allowing the metal to spread out and flatten beyond its normal dimensions, creating a coin that's wider and often thinner with a lack of edge definition, giving it a very distinct, immediately recognizable look that sets it apart in any collection. And these broad-struck 2000 D pennies, especially those with minimal postment wear, have been known to fetch astonishing prices due to their visual appeal and relative scarcity, and we haven't even touched yet on one of the most controversial and debated anomalies surrounding this coin, the appearance of the so-called ghosted memorial design, where traces of the Lincoln Memorial from the reverse appear faintly or partially on the obverse side, typically the result of die clash errors when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, and this causes features from one side of the coin to be imprinted as ghost-like impressions on the opposite die, and thus carried over onto subsequent coins. And when these clashes are dramatic and well-defined, especially in areas like Lincoln's shoulder or cheek, they become highly collectible, and the 2000 D cent has a surprising number of confirmed and suspected die clash variants, leading some experts to suspect that something unusual occurred during the production process at the Denver Mint that year, potentially involving faulty die maintenance, rushed production schedules, or simply the increased volume of cents being minted at the time, all of which may have contributed to the high incidence of striking anomalies. And we can't discuss the full allure of this coin without delving into the planchet composition itself, because even though by the year 2000 the standard composition of the Lincoln cent had long since changed from the original bronze to a zinc core with copper plating, there are persistent rumors and scattered reports of off-metal strikes involving older copper-based planchets left over from previous years or even foreign planchets mistakenly fed into the presses, and while these have yet to be officially recognized by the U.S. Mint, certain specimens have shown unusual coloration, weight deviations, and acoustic resonance characteristics that suggest an atypical metallic content, prompting collectors to send them for advanced metallurgical testing and density scans to determine if they might represent rare and valuable transition errors akin to the famous 1943 copper cent or 1982 small-date bronze cent. And while confirmation remains elusive, the very possibility of an off-metal 2000 D penny is enough to keep the numismatic world on edge and has driven some examples into the seven-figure sales category despite lacking definitive authentication, driven purely by market speculation, rarity, and the thrill of possibly owning a modern legend. And then we arrive at the micro-details that have become the obsession of error collectors, the repunched mint mark, where the D was struck more than once in a slightly offset fashion during the minting die's preparation, causing a doubled appearance under magnification. And although this type of error is more commonly associated with earlier decades, isolated examples have been attributed to the 2000 D penny, raising eyebrows among collectors and suggesting that outdated practices or overlooked errors may have crept into the modern minting process. And to add fuel to the fire, some of these mint mark anomalies have been found on coins that also feature doubling in the date numerals, particularly the 2 and 0, which in rare cases appear to have shadowed outlines suggesting either hub doubling or machine doubling. And while machine doubling is typically not as valuable, the presence of multiple error types on a single coin creates what collectors call a compound error, and compound error coins tend to skyrocket in value due to their sheer rarity and complexity, as they represent multiple malfunctions occurring simultaneously during the coin's creation, a numismatic jackpot of sorts. And if you think it ends there, consider the rare and perplexing occurrences of die cracks and die cuts, where portions of the minting die break or wear away, causing raised, irregular blobs or lines on the coin's surface, sometimes stretching across Lincoln's face or diagonally through the inscriptions. And these cracks, especially when dramatic and located in key visual areas, add unique appeal to each coin and are often treated like snowflakes by collectors. No two are exactly alike, and when paired with any of the other major errors discussed, they can elevate a coin's value exponentially. And while most known errors have surfaced from circulated examples, there are whispers of uncirculated, high-grade 2000 D pennies with multiple dramatic errors housed in private collections, quietly increasing in value and held by investors who understand the long-term potential of ultra-rare modern error coins. And as awareness of this particular cent grows and more collectors begin to understand the wide range of documented and possible errors associated with it, the demand continues to surge, turning even moderately flawed examples into hot commodities and creating a seller's market for anything unusual bearing the 2000 D date and mint mark. And this market activity, fueled by forums, YouTube showcases, and televised coin auctions, only adds to the mystique of the coin and ensures that even unconfirmed error types remain a subject of speculation and intense scrutiny, with numismatists around the globe still searching for the next breakthrough discovery that could further solidify this coin's place in history. And when one of these coins was Recently rumored to have fetched over $32 million due to its extraordinary combination of multiple strike doubling, dramatic off-center alignment, unconfirmed off-metal composition, and virtually flawless preservation, the news sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, reigniting global interest in the 2000 D cent and causing a surge in submissions of similar coins for grading and evaluation. And while not every 2000 D penny is a multi-million-dollar prize, the simple fact remains that among the billions minted, a tiny fraction contain the right combination of errors and quality to make them staggeringly valuable, and that's what makes this coin so special, not just the known documented examples but the very real possibility that the next great error coin might still be sitting in a change jar, a coin roll, a glove compartment, or an old forgotten piggy bank, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for, someone like you. So keep checking your pennies, because if you ever come across a 2000 D cent with strange doubling, shifted designs, ghosted images, missing edge detail, weird coloration, abnormal weight, die cracks, or anything that just looks unusual, take a closer look, because it just might be one of the rarest, most valuable modern coins ever minted. And as the legend of the 2000 D 1 cent piece continues to grow, it cements its place not just as a fascinating curiosity but as a bona fide symbol of how history, mystery, and minting